Good day, my friends. Let's learn something new today. VAT, or better known as value added tax. There is a video for the GST on the general sales tax. If you haven't watched that, maybe watch it before you watch this one here. Righto guys, value added tax, as it says, the tax gets added on as the value climbs. Let's have a look at it. Right. Learning objectives, firstly, is to define VAT and its purpose. To calculate VAT on a given price. Understand how VAT is added to the final price of goods and services. And finally, to apply VAT calculations to real-world scenarios. Now, VAT is very different to GST. And you'll see as we go through the lesson how it becomes apparent why many countries prefer to use the VAT system. Righto, let's have a look. What is VAT exactly? Let's look into it. VAT is a consumption tax added to the price of most goods and services. It's a multi-stage tax, meaning it is added at each stage of production and distribution. Well, now that is a whole lot said. I will be explaining that a lot better as the video goes along. The final consumer bears the burden of the VAT, right? Not completely like that, because every person as it goes through the stages must pay VAT. But of course at the end of the process, when you're buying by a shop, you're carrying the burden of the VAT actually. Right. Great. Let's see. Righto, let's go and have a look at how does VAT work, how VAT works, right? Firstly, right, once again, the same examples that we use for GST. We've got a supplier of materials. This guy's cutting the materials because we're going to be looking at, let's say, furniture for industry or whatever. So this guy's cutting the trees down, cutting the trees into planks that he can sell again to a manufacturer, right? And of course, the manufacturer of the goods, here is the manufacturer, he makes all the goods, he makes the chairs, the tables, etc. And then he, of course, he supplies it again over to the seller, right? And the seller collects VAT paid on the goods. But also, you will see now, the supplier collects VAT, the manufacturer collects VAT. Right now, the VAT he collects minus the VAT that he pays to the government, the VAT that he collects minus the VAT that he has paid to the material supplier, and that's he pays the difference over to the government. Same over here, the guy of the shop, he pays the VAT to this guy over here, and when he finally he buys things from this guy over here, and when he finally sells it, you pay VAT on the goods. Now the VAT he pays to the government is a VAT that he gets from you minus the VAT he's paid to the manufacturer. Well, that's a whole lot, but anyhow, in the following videos, if you follow and you keep watching, you'll understand exactly what I'm trying to tell you over here. Righto, and we're making good progress over here. Let's have a look at the VAT rate. Now, as before, and I've mentioned so many times already, every country has a different rate of VAT. Depending on the country, the economical situation of the country, they will change the percentage of VAT that they'll be collecting from the people when you are purchasing goods. I know many countries, what they do is they increase the VAT and they decrease the personal rate of tax. So by this way, they tend to collect a broader and a better, more effective way of collecting taxes from people. So this rate of VAT is applied to most goods, products and services. However, there are some goods, products and services that are exempted from VAT. Well, now that's a whole lot said. Educational materials, this can include textbooks, school supplies, educational equipment, etc. that is normally exempted from VAT. Also, essential goods. These are items considered necessary for basic living, such as certain foods, water and medicine, etc. There are a lot of things that are excluded from the or exempted from VAT, put it this way. And also, of course, medical supplies and services, which could include medical equipment, prescriptions by pharmacy, etc., and certain healthcare services. Also, a lot of religious items are also exempted. Certain export goods are exempted, but not all, right? It depends on every country. It's got its own laws considering where they charge VAT and where they will not charge VAT. Righto, let's try again. Take number 3. Wow, can you believe this? Calculating VAT. Now, to calculate VAT is a very simple procedure, and the basic formula for calculating the VAT is very simple. The VAT amount times price equals price times the VAT rate. Example, if the price of a product is $100 and the VAT rate is 14%, then the VAT amount is 100 times 14%, which equals us with $14. Or you could just work it out like I've shown over here, much easier. If you don't know how to work percentage, just take the 14 divided by 100 and you'll get a decimal which you multiply by your price and you get your VAT amount. Now, calculating the final price is of course very simple. The final price is the sum of the original price and the VAT amount. Example, using the previous example above, right, final price would be 100 plus 14 equals $114. Now, in the next couple of slides, you will see how this gets calculated on every stage of production. Not the same as with GST, for instance, where this only gets calculated at the end by when you are buying the goods by the shop. VAT is different, and it gets calculated and must be paid over to the government at every stage of production. If you keep watching, you will see in the next slides how it works. Great, good to see you still over here and still watching the VAT lesson. That means you are interested in VAT, and that's nice to see that. Right, guys, now come back to the slides again. Here, if you can remember, was the guy that made the materials, right? The supplier of the materials, the wood, to the manufacturer, right? So let's have a look at the supplier. That's this guy over here. Righto. The supplier adds VAT to the price of the materials that he sells to the manufacturer. The total cost of the materials, let's just say for example it is $250. Therefore the VAT at 14% equals us with $35. Now we add them together and we'll get $285. So the manufacturer or the factory will be paying $285 for the materials that he has bought by the supplier over here. And of course the supplier pays the $35 VAT to the government, right? He just pays it straight, $35 to the government, and end of story. That is the first stage of the VAT process. Great, now that we've done the first stage of the VAT, let's go and have a look at the second stage of calculating the VAT. We are now at the factory, right, or the manufacturer, or whatever you want to call the guy, right? So at the manufacturer, what's going to happen over here? The manufacturer adds VAT to the price of the goods he sells to the outlet or the shop or whatever you want to call it. So the total cost of the goods equals us the materials plus a profit the factory wants to make or the manufacturer wants to make. So let's say it is now $400. So what he's going to be doing is he is going to be working out 14% on the $400, which gives us $56. So the total cost will equal us then with $456 is the total cost of the materials and his labor and everything and the profit he wants to make, etc., plus the VAT on that amount over there, which again gives us $456. But now here is where the very big difference comes in. The manufacturer collects $56 VAT, right? But he has paid $35 VAT on the materials already. So what's going to happen now? He takes his $56 which he has collected on VAT minus the $35 that he has paid already to the supplier. So he only has to pay $21 to the government. That's all he has to pay over to the government, is that $21 over there. I hope you understand it. If not, we can always try again or watch the video again. Wonderful, man. Now let's have a look at the what happens by the outlet, right? Now you must remember, I'm only showing you 3 stages. There could be many more stages in the whole process, right? So let's have a look at the outlet. The outlet adds VAT to the price of the goods that he sells to the public. So the total cost of the goods will be the cost price plus the profit that the outlet wants to make. This time his price is going to be $600. So the VAT of 14% on the $600 equals us with $84. So the total cost or selling price or whatever is $684 now, because the VAT gets added onto that price over there, and of course that is the total selling price. Now once again the story repeats itself. The outlet collects $84 in VAT, but has paid $56 VAT on the goods already. He paid to the manufacturer. If you can remember the previous slide, he paid $56 VAT to the manufacturer. So let's have a look at it. So he'll only pay $84 minus the $56 which he has paid already, which gives us $28. So he's only going to be paying $28 over to the government. Now guys, that is where this whole process comes in very good. With the GST, the tax is only collected over here. So if this guy is dishonest, the government loses all the tax. But with the VAT, as you can see, VAT was collected by the guy that supplied the materials. It was collected again by the guy that makes it, by the manufacturer or the factory or whatever, and of course then again by the outlet, by the point of sale. So as you can see, if one guy is dishonest in the whole process, the government doesn't lose all the tax. They still get a good part of the tax, and that is why so many countries do prefer to use the VAT system. Although it's a lot more complicated, but yes, it is a much better and a much safer system. Okay, let's go and have a look at using VAT in the real world scenario. Firstly, here we've got an invoice, a beautiful invoice, really a very nice invoice. I don't know what it was for. The logo has disappeared here, but anyhow, it's an invoice. And as you can see, he's got some social media templates over here, which is three for £50. For those of you that don't know, pounds is for the UK, it's the UK currency. And then of course the preparation of the templates or whatever the case might be, 2 times, and that's £50 as well. Now guys, you must work out the totals over here, get the subtotal, work out the VAT over here. What's our VAT percentage going to be? Right, I forgot to put this on. Oopsie, righto. So say pause the video and complete the invoice with a VAT rate that equals to 14%. Wow. At some shops, yes, this is very important, guys. At some shops, the VAT is included in the price of the goods. If the price you see on the shelf is a price of VAT, including VAT already. Some shops don't do it that way, but many do it that way. Righto. Okay, guys, there it is. But I think at this point of time, let's pause the video, and then you can continue finishing off your invoice.
Hey, do not cheat. Pause the video.
Great, man. I think we're making a good progress over here as we've reached the end of the lesson. But anyhow, guys, just compare your answers and check that your answers are correct and agree. If not, please correct or discuss or watch the video again to see where you've done your mistake. Because 3 items, £50, by the way, pounds is for the UK, equals £150. 2 items at £50 gives us £100. Gives a total of £250. 14%, because our VAT is calculated at 14% of 250, £35. We add them together, we get £285. Guys, this is all that's really important on this whole invoice over here, is that you'll be able to calculate the VAT at the percentage, which is the VAT, the tax rate is, and onto the price and add them together. That's the basic. It's so easy, hey? Really, it is very easy to do. Anyhow, I hope you understand and you've enjoyed the video. If so, click on like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.